Hello and welcome back to Arcurus Plays Arma 3. This is the campaign Remnants of War from the Laws of War DLC. We're going to continue into one of the first missions.
Just some old boxes here and there.
IDAPs.
Yeah. It was NATO that helped bring them in. Actually, it was one hell of a supply drop.
So, the supply drop, this was when exactly?
Right around the time we saw the ceasefire starting to break down. Must be more than a year ago now.
So, at that time, your camp was in the center of town?
Yeah, things were getting pretty desperate, though. I remember we hadn't been resupplied in months. No food, water, medicine. We were used to issues with logistics, but I don't know, in the end it got so bad US forces prepared an airdrop. Not an easy task considering, but those crates, they really were life and death. That's why we needed somebody on the ground. Someone to make sure they came down okay.
And who was that?
A guy named Adams, part of the NATO peacekeeping force. Close friend of mine, actually.
Yes. Adams, I remember you. He was our sergeant in the beginning of the campaign. We played him in the prologue. And then we were with him through the first mission or so of the campaign.
Adams? He went out alone?
From the way he told it, he may as well have. No, he went along with some new recruits, local bunch. It was his job to show them the ropes.
Alright. Okay, so we have to call the airdrop. Once you reach a shootable position, call in the airdrop from your sports menu. Plane will fly over in the direction from which you call it.
Something I'm not quite clear on. Why didn't IDAP transport the aid themselves? There must have been a reason.
Yeah, there was. A couple of weeks previously, guerrillas had ambushed a convoy. It was some dissident group out to sabotage the peace talks in Livonia. Anyway, NATO intervened and the whole thing just blew up. A checkpoint was hit. Protesters were fired upon at the MOD.
Yes, we were there. AAN.
Then you know how bad it got.
Our movements were limited by the government.
Exactly. And convincing anybody to reassign troops, to escort NGOs, just a total non-starter.
Tell me more about your friend. He was your liaison, right?
Right. But Adams and I had a history. We'd met on a previous deployment. This guy was your typical army lifer. Cynical, sarcastic, big heart, pissed off with everyone, everything, all the time. And he always seemed to know where to find a beer, and was always willing to share it.
Alright, right here.
Dismount.
Copy. Standing by. Waiting.
You mentioned something about the breakdown of peace talks, the situation blowing up. What happened there, from your perspective?
Well, for one thing, the change in the peacekeeping mandate came out of the blue. We heard the pressure came down the pipe from CSAT. They had the leverage.
You mean it was in their interest to kick NATO off the mainland?
Maybe. Certainly the government had become frustrated with NATO and vice versa.
I suppose they blame NATO for their, more sympathetic approach.
Hearts and minds, Adams used to tell me. But the others said they just didn't have the guts for it. Couldn't do what needed to be done.
Gekas, move left.
On the way. Ready.
Leventis, move left.
We'll go. Standing by.
No, I want you guys to take cover.
Petros, move left.
Understood. Waiting.
Let's see. They'll be watching southwest.
Watch southwest.
And then... Actually...
Take cover.
Copy that.
Watch southwest.
Okay, have them all take cover. Guys, that's not southwest. Only one of you's watching southwest. I'm gonna have them basically act as a blocking force while I work down here.
A ways up the road from our encampment, there was a small farmstead. As far as drop zones went, it was as good a spot as any.
Yep. Flying towards... Yeah, we'll go fly towards the southwest.
Once he'd called in the airdrop, that was it. They just had to sit tight, hope for the best.
One thing I don't understand, what were they doing there, all the way up in the mountains?
The town, Oreo Castro, this place has historic ties with the guerrillas. For years, people here would provide them with food, water.
I see.
The government responded by draining the swamp.
And that involved sending soldiers?
Yeah, coin ops. Adams and his guys were there to remind them of their R2P.
Just a sec, I'm getting a bit lost in the lingo here.
Oh, gotcha. R2P is their responsibility to protect. Counterinsurgency can get real messy real quick. He was in charge of training, laws of armed conflict, that kind of thing.
Man. Oh, responsibility to protect.
Adams normally tossed out an orange smoke grenade, which marked his position for the pilot.
Responsibility to protect. That's kind of topical nowadays when it comes to things, especially things happening in the United States, where it basically has come out that a lot of police departments in the United States legally don't have a responsibility to protect, which seems very counterintuitive.
We've got an enemy. Unknown
So,
contact. 600
these
meters
crates,
bearing
were there a lot of them,
045.
or...
No, just 4. One contained medicine, another fresh drinking water. The rest were packed with rice or grain. Adams had to inspect each one individually. Later, we'd arrange collection.
Oh no. Those are not going in a nice direction. Oh, those all landed way off. I hope none are damaged.
It wasn't uncommon for the sacks of grain to split on impact, but that time, we got lucky. He didn't lose a single one.
No, don't you slide down that hill.
Technicals 100 meters.
No, the thing with
behind us.
airdrops, they're not exactly subtle. Smoke, noise of the plane, those bright green parachutes. Thankfully, the rice seemed okay.
Okay, apparently my guys are engaging a technical.
Machine gunner, 75 meters left.
That's what I left them up there for.
Target's down.
I don't like that I'm continuing to hear a vehicle.
Car, 200 meters right.
Technical 75 meters left.
Man, 200 meters to the left.
I'm full auto. Bam. Was expecting to deal with the car in full auto. Hope this thing's okay.
The medical items, you can imagine how pleased we were to see those arrive.
So they landed safely.
Yeah, they were fine.
One more crate.
As I recall, the bottles of purified water were fine. We'd been waiting on those for weeks. As for the crates, they still needed to be checked before anyone else arrived.
There's probably like one sniper running around.
Fall back.
Roger.
Call them to regroup.
Report position.
I heard that shot.
Rifle, 100 meters front.
The guerrillas attacked.
Yeah, from what
Okay,
I heard,
yeah.
it was pretty intense. I don't have the numbers, but maybe 6 or 7 were killed.
And what happened when the supplies had been secured?
Adams would fire a flare.
There we go. Nice and easy. AI did most of the shooting for me.
Back at the camp, of course, we'd heard all the gunfire, but that flare, when we spotted it, I don't know, felt like finding a moment of hope or something.
Sure. I can only imagine. And thanks for sharing. It puts a human perspective on my work. Speaking of which, your friend, do you think he'd be willing to contribute further? Even, off the record. What with the topic of my article, having an expert, an instructor on the laws of war.
Look, I'm sorry. I know he'd help out however he could, but listen, he died on Stratis. Year and a bit later. Landmine.
Yep. Happened during the campaign when we played.
Mac, heads up. Bobcat's on the move. Driver wouldn't wait.
That's fine, thanks, Andy. Hey, Kate, bear with me. It's gonna get a little noisy here. We gotta clear out some mines.
Take your time. Just let me know when you can talk.
Alright. That was that mission. About delivering aid and supplies. Anyways. It was a good one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. This is Arcturus, signing off.